What's up, YouTube? It's Ron Block. This is the trucking block. Not a very big channel right now. Been busy for the past week or so. Back on the 19th, I was sent to Markham, Illinois, outside of Chicago, Illinois, for U.S. Xpress orientation. Orientation went well. Basically, they get you a Greyhound ticket to the location. It could be that terminal or another terminal. For me, it happened to be Markham, Illinois. Hotel was decent. I should have did a video there at the hotel. That way you could see how the hotel looked or whatever. But anyway, brought me to the hotel on a Tuesday morning. I had to sit there all day until Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning came, took a shuttle to the terminal. Got there, sat there for about 20 minutes beforehand because we got there kind of early, like 25, 30 minutes early. Met up with the coordinator, sat down our respective spots with our name badges on them. For me, my name badge came a little later because they had to put me in the system. I had to fix an error that happened. But anyway, watched some informational videos. Then they did our drug test and our physical. And then, of course, I guess they would call it agility test or whatever, where you climb up and down a simulated trailer and go under a simulated trailer, push a rotainer, do some squatting lifts, with certain amount of pounds. I think it was like 50 to 20 pounds, something like that. And then a rotainer was like 150, something like that. It was pretty heavy. But anyway, of course, cleared my UA, physical. Oh, they do a hair analysis too. They do that test, and the hair follicle test is kind of bad for me because I didn't want them to cut any hair off the top of my head. I'm growing it out right now for a certain style I'm trying to do. But they cut the hair off my leg, so one of my legs is shaving. Very odd. I never shaved my legs. Anyways, growing back. It's been about a week or so, like I said. Actually been longer than that, actually. It's been like almost 2 weeks, really, since that happened, because I did that on the 20th. The rest of the day was filled with watching more videos about the company. There's supposed to be modules to teach you, which you learn a lot in them if you pay attention to them. Then you got to complete, small little quizzes, in between the modules or during the modules. Then the second day, instead of going to the first classroom we started off in on that Wednesday, on Thursday, the second day, we went to another classroom where they had a driver tech module where you actually use the equipment that you would use in your truck to do your logs and your paperwork and everything. Completed that, took a little test on it. Then they during this day, people's information started to come back: background checks, employment checks, drug tests, stuff of that nature. Obviously your physical, you'll know the same day you do it. Either you're going to pass or not. It was one person in my class that was pregnant, ended up being denied the end of the second day, I want to say. No, it's the beginning of the third day. I'm sorry. Never mind. But she was waiting the second day. But the second day, really, after we did that class, on the driver tech, we did a couple more videos. One was about the spotted lanternfly, specific bug that destroys crops, that we had to learn about from Pennsylvania and get a little certificate for it and everything. I got that on me now. But anyway, after we completed the last bit of videos, basically the second day, we sat around for like 5 hours, man. Of course, third day comes, the final day comes. This is where you find out whether you hired or not. The third day is usually they use this day. They call it orientation. But the third day is usually just to see if you're hired or not. Like I said, it was a pregnant girl. She ended up being notified that morning that she was not hired due to her pregnancy. First 2 days, they were trying to work through the details on that and see if they could bypass, maybe doing a dedicated or regional and go over the road with her. But that's a liability, being pregnant or whatever. Then another guy, he had to get special equipment installed in his truck. Since he's a first seat driver, he has experience. He doesn't need training. He worked for U.S. Xpress years ago, I guess. The third day, they end up let him know that he would have to come back Monday because the part wouldn't be shipped in until then. So I imagine he's already working. He's not waiting on his trainer like I am right now in the hotel room. Anyway, me and another guy, we had a unique situation. When it came to the hiring day, we both were waiting on our background checks and what the safety department would say about it. I figured they would, but it was some doubt in there. I ain't gonna lie. I was a little bit worried. I'm still getting over a little bit of breakout on my forehead from that. But anyway, they hired me and the other guy because it was altogether it was 5 people in my class. Now it was a 5th guy. I don't know if he was hired or not, because it was like he was there half the 3rd day and then he was gone. I didn't see him after that, so I'm guessing he was hired and he just didn't share that information with us. But whatever. But anyway, like I said, it was the guy that had to get special equipment put in his truck because he was in a near fatal car accident some years back, and he lost one of his legs, so he needed a special mechanism for the pedal to adapt to his amputated leg, the amputated foot. And then the pregnant chick, of course, she got knocked off. The other guy, like I said, I don't know, he disappeared halfway through the 3rd day, so I'm guessing he got hired because he didn't come out looking mad or anything. But I didn't see him leave with any of the books they give you when you're hired, because they give you the emergency response hazmat books and all that. But anyway, me and the other guy, we were hired, and the other guy ended up, since he was from Chicago, they ended up hooking him up with a trainer that day, and he was going to leave the very next day. So this is a Friday. He was going to leave Saturday morning with his trainer. So he started his training before me. Unfortunately for me, since I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, they sent me back home and gave me layover pay each day, which is around $50 a day, until they could, set me up with a trainer. Unfortunately, again, the following week, because, this Friday I found out I'm hired, and they sent me back home Friday night. Got home Saturday morning. From Saturday morning all the way until, what was it, like Monday morning. This past Monday morning. From November, because this started on November 19th. My journey started November 19th. So November 22nd, I was hired. I was sent home for layover pay so I could wait on the trainer. Of course, Thanksgiving came up, so there was nobody available all that next week. So I had to sit at home all that next week. And finally, on December 3rd, I want to say. When did I get here? I got here, what's the day? Today's Wednesday. Whew. Anyway, December 2nd, my stepdaughter's birthday, I find out that they have a trainer lined up for me. He's from Alabama, but he was in Atlanta, Georgia at the time that I spoke to him, and spoke to my training, or what do they call him? Training coordinator, fleet manager, you might as well say. When I spoke to them too, I was informed that I would be leaving KC and heading for Memphis, Tennessee. That's basically where I'm at now. They call it Olive Branch, Tennessee. I guess it's really close to Mississippi. But anyway, KC to Memphis, Tennessee was the plan. I left Monday night. They had set up a lift for me, but I didn't use a lift. I got my own ride. To anybody new to trucking out there, the whole U.S. Xpress orientation is basically like, it's just like any other orientation you're going to go through with any major trucking company. Well, even the small ones, it's going to be 1 or 2 days, maybe 3, maybe a week, depending on how the company wants to rock with it. They do your physical, UA, hair tests, because these are federal guidelines that they got to go by. They got to check your employment. They got to check your background, check your driver's license and your driving record, see if you have a valid CDL, yada, yada, yada. And that was a little bit of a hang up for me because I have a paper copy of it, because Missouri took forever in the day to process mine. I ended up going down to DMV, matter of fact, this past, because it's Wednesday today. It's Wednesday the 4th. And on Monday the 2nd, I literally like 5 hours before I left to get on the Greyhound to come to Memphis, I went to the DMV and I talked to one of the workers there, and she sympathized with me and was like, "Man, it's been like a month. You took this test a month ago. You should have it by now. You sure you haven't missed it in the mail, or it wasn't sent back?" Or I said, "No. It's even showing on my MVR when you run it that I don't have a CDL. It shows a permit on my MVR. It shows a valid Class E license and a valid permit on there for CDL, for commercial driving. It doesn't show my actual driver's license for commercial. It just shows those two." So she looked it up. She saw the same thing. She was like, "Well, give me it," because it got real late in the day. It was like about 5:30 by the time she got to me. Mind you, I had waited for damn near 2.5 hours to even be talked to at the DMV because of how long the line was. Like I said, Missouri takes a long time to process things. Anyway, she looked into it and was like, "I'll tell you what, give me your cell phone number. Since you're leaving town, I'll give you a call tomorrow morning. As soon as I come into work, I'm calling Jeff City, and I'm going to see if I can get through to somebody to figure this out." And I told her, I said, "Look, I've called several times, and only 2 times I was able to get a hold of people. They told me the same thing. Oh, it's just showing this. They haven't processed it yet, and they haven't released it yet. Well, you should have it soon. It's just taking us a long time because we have one person working on it." Why they have one person working on it, I don't know. Missouri is a pretty sizable state, and a lot of new drivers getting their CDL. Why would you have one person working on the whole state's commercial driver's license processing? I don't make sense to me. Anyway, she called him, and she kept her word. Like I said, I got on a bus, Kansas City, 9:45 p.m. from KC. Arrived in Memphis the next morning, like 8:30 in the morning. She called me like when the bus was pulling up to the terminal, not the trucking terminal, but the Greyhound terminal. Like literally when the bus turned into the terminal, my phone started ringing. I'm like, it's like 8:30 in the morning. It's the lady from the DMV, from Grandview, Missouri DMV. She's like, "Mr. Block, I'm thinking it's like collections or something, 'cause I ain't never seen this number before." I'm like, "Yeah, who is this?" She's like, "Well, this is such and such from the DMV. I got in contact with a representative from Jeff City. It has been released and processed, and you should have it in the mail within a few days." I was like, "Thank you, appreciate it." I was like, "I don't know what you did, but I appreciate it." She was like, "Well, they processed it and released it, when I got done with them, so you should see it in the mail soon." Cool, whatever. Only problem with that is that I'm in the middle of training, and I need my valid CDL on me, not in the mail. But I have my paper copy until the 16th, so I'm going to work with my fleet manager / training coordinator and my trainer to see if there's a way we can finesse that. Maybe we'll get close enough to KC to where I can stop by and grab my license, or I can have it mailed to me, something of that sort. Plus, I have my permit on me regardless. So if we get stopped by DOT, state trooper, whatever, I have a licensed driver in the truck with me. So it ain't like, you know what I'm saying? We're not committing any we're not committing any crimes or breaking any laws. Anyway, yeah, so got that call. got out of the terminal, got my Lyft ride to the hotel. The Lyft driver got a little lost, but we figured it out. Called my training coordinator in the middle of being lost and got it figured out. They set me up in this big old hotel off of Main Strip here in Memphis, or Olive Branch. I don't know exactly where I'm at. I'm not from here. I ain't never came through this way when it came to Tennessee. If I go through Tennessee, it's usually through, Chattanooga and Nashville. I ain't never came this direction. But arrived here Tuesday morning. Been here since. It's now Wednesday afternoon, about 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm still here. So, I'm waiting on my trainer to meet up with me. I talked to him yesterday night. Matter of fact, he called me yesterday evening and said they're going to route him to me. Every trucking company has to make money while they're sending their trainer to pick up students. It is what it is. So they're going to route him to me. I don't know how long that's going to take. He depends on what loads he got, what shipper he's going to, yada, yada, yada. I haven't received no information from him today. I did call and check on my orientation pay because I didn't receive my orientation pay immediately after finishing orientation like you're supposed to in my direct deposit because they have my bank information. That's for sure because we get paid every Friday through US Xpress and they pay me for my layover pay. And it showed that they deducted the $50 that they put on a gas card because they give you a gas card at the end of orientation. I'm not going to do like most people and give you all the ins and outs when it comes to doing orientation because it's kind of repetitive. There's millions of videos out there saying what happens in the hiring process. Some are a little different because they change it every now and again, but it's the same basic thing. They bring you out to a terminal, set you up in a hotel room. They usually have a shuttle to get you from the hotel to the terminal and from the terminal back to the hotel at a certain time. It's usually a decent hotel, usually has restaurants around it. Usually set you up with a roommate. I didn't have a roommate. I got lucky on that one. I guess the time of the day I came in, and plus they ran out of rooms, and they were cleaning the rooms that were going to be available for 2 people, but I was by myself. I had me a single bedroom. It was actually a wheelchair accessible room. It was meant for disabled, patrons. It wasn't meant for me, but it was a nice room. I guess the most I could tell you about it is, like I said, it's the basics, After, that day, if you come in early, enough, you'll spend a day at the hotel or a night at the hotel, wake up the next morning, go to orientation. Usually the first day, they're going to UA you. They're going to do your hair follicle test, your physical test, your agility test. They're going to run some videos through you. They're going to start your background check, your employment check. That way, they have it the first day, and for the next few days, they determine whether they're going to hire you or not. Fortunately for me, they hired me on the 3rd day. I found that I was hired Friday morning. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning. It was almost noon. That's what got me kind of worried in the process. I'm like, man, they already told OG he hired, the pregnant chick out of here because she was pregnant. That one dude, he done drove off. And it's just me and old boy here playing PlayStation, pass the time. Now, if you go to a company that's fortunate enough to have a video game system for you to play on, cool, whatever. But it didn't matter to me. I was just doing it to pass time. I hadn't touched my PlayStation that I got at home in months. My oldest son mainly touches that thing. Ever since I beat Grand Theft Auto 5, I haven't touched it. But I was sitting there nervously playing it like, man, when's she going to call me? I kept walking in the HR room. Hey, you heard anything? Finally, the last time I talked to her, she was like, Mr. Block, give me about 20 minutes, okay? I know what's going on with yours. I will be bringing you your hiring packet. Give me about 20 minutes. I'm like, man, she bluffing. She ain't bringing no hiring packet. Showed up around 11 o'clock that morning. I'm sitting out there in the break room after playing ping pong one of the cats that was getting hired too, or in the orientation process too. She came out there with a stack of books and my hiring paperwork. It's not that difficult to accomplish if you want to do it. It's been a long journey, I will say that. Oh boy, it's been a journey and a half, bro. Like, man, you have no idea. I took my CDL test, my driving test, and my maneuvers test at the state trooper's office November 1st. It is December 4th. Okay? I took my permit test the beginning of October. The second week of October. It's December 4th. Like, it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Now, some companies, they'll get you in there quick. Very quick. Especially if they own the company that does the training and they have a proctor on site. If they have a guy or a woman that can test you on site that's certified through the state, it happens a lot faster. Unfortunately for me, again, it's always something in my case. The school I went to, they're just now putting a location there. They're a huge company. They come from a huge company, Roadmaster, a.k.a. Warner, but they're new to Grandview, Missouri. So they don't have a proctor there. They don't have a tester there. They have people that can evaluate you, train you, that are ex-truck drivers or current truck drivers, but they can fly people in, but they don't have anybody certified through the state to give you a test on the spot and send you straight to the DMV, which I think would be very convenient because the location of the school. It's got a nice location. You test out there, the DMV is literally 7 minutes up the road. But I had to drive 15 minutes up the road to the state trooper's office and have a state trooper examine me, or state troopers, because I had a trainee that day. I had a examination trainee that day. Said it on the badge. And an official examiner behind me. So I had two ladies in the truck with me that day. And anyway, it's been a journey. It's been a lot of ups and downs with the CDL thing. But you got to fight for what you really want. And the goals that you want to achieve, make sure they have a good end result and they have a long-term plan. That's why I'm going through all this. Mind you, while I'm doing all this, I was working at McDonald's. And as you all know, I'm furloughed from a railroad. I went from that kind of money to McDonald's to gain my CDL. I've been trying to drink some more water because I've been on a Coca-Cola binge lately. Skin don't look the same and everything. You start drinking that Coca-Cola all the time, you feel different. So I've been drinking some good water. Anyway, that's my update. That's what's going on with me now. I'm just sitting in this hotel room. I've been kind of waiting on making a video because I didn't want to get too in depth with the orientation process because I'm just doing an update. If you want me to answer any questions about the orientation process, comment, and I'll respond back as soon as possible. And I'll give you the exact details of how it goes down, nothing but the truth. A lot of these videos, a lot of these people give you some bull. They'll give you some bull crap, or they give you a skewed, a very tight view, their own opinion of a company, because either they're experienced drivers or they are very upset about the process when they shouldn't be, because they knew what they were getting into when they went and got their CDL. I knew what I was getting into, and I think my railroad experience helps out with that, because you have to have patience. Whenever you're dealing with a transportation job, you have to have patience. These are mega companies that are moving lots of things. You can't expect for them to treat you like royalty and roll out the red carpet when you walk through the doors. They're going to hire you based upon your skills and background, your criminal check, your drug test, and see what you got. You pass them things, they're going to see what you got. You mess up from there, that's your decision. But they're not going to roll out the red carpet for you. just because your resume says 10 years of trucking. It'll be a little easier through the hiring process. You'll get hired a lot faster than a student, quickly. You'll have a truck quickly. All you have to do when you're experienced is, showcase your skills. They might have you do a driving test and a maneuver test and be like, okay, here's your truck, here's your keys, here's your fleet manager. This is how you contact them. This is how you use our system. This is the system we use. These are the type of trucks we have. These are our terminals. Welcome to the team. Move our stuff. And that's how it is for a student, too, eventually. Because after I meet up with this guy, I'm going to do 175 hours of drive time, which is actually going to be around 130, because they're going to cut me off at a certain period to bring me back so I can upgrade to a full-fledged driver, in which, with this company, I've already been informed that they have a new system now to where after you upgrade, around 120, 130 hours, they bring you back to a terminal. They have you do a driving test, backing test, and make sure you know how to use the equipment and everything. And then after that, they say, okay, you're good, but you have to go and do team driving for 8 weeks. So it's a process. So I'm looking at about, the middle of December is when I'll upgrade. I say either the middle or end of February is when I'll get my own truck of 2020. So it's going to be a process, but nonetheless, I'm thankful for the process because it makes you very humble. It makes you appreciate everything that you get out of it. Plus, I have a long-term goal with this. It's not just to drive trucks for a company. It's to drive trucks for myself. I want to be owner-operator. Now, I don't want to buy and lease through a company. I want to stack my bread and buy my own truck. Mine. From a dealership, mine. That way ain't no funny stuff. If anything happens between me and the company, I get to take my truck. Not no, leave your truck here and call a ride. No, I can take my truck and go. Not only that, opens up more doors when you are owner-operator. And time progresses. Let's say the railroad calls me back because I'm furloughed. I'm not fired. I ain't do anything wrong to them. And I ain't saying they did anything wrong to me. I know the game with that too. I have low seniority. I can't be mad at them. I knew what it was before I got hired out. I got a family that's working there and they have seniority. So they still working. But can't be mad at them. Gotta know your role. But if they call me back, I'm still gonna stack my bread and buy a second truck. Then a third. Then a fourth. Then a fifth. Then a sixth. So on and so forth. Until eventually I own my own company. It's gonna be hard work, but I'm tired of working for people, man. I'm not in these two different careers to keep working for people for the rest of my life. Now, I'm going to stick with the railroading. There's lots of benefits to being a railroader. Tons of them. Discounts, all kinds of stuff. Retirement is amazing. Job security is amazing. Yeah, you won't make money the whole time you're with them because you might get furloughed, you might get pushed back to a certain board. But job security. Got a job for life. As long as I don't mess up, as long as I don't do no drugs, hurt anybody, or damage any equipment. And even if I damage some equipment, I just have to be truthful. Now, that's my plan. Gotta have a plan. Once again, channel ain't flashy. Like, share, subscribe. Comment if you want. Ain't nobody done none of that yet. I ain't hating. Just making these videos in case somebody runs across it and wants a bit of information about trucking. That's why it's called the Trucking Block now. I officially changed the name. You get it? The Trucking Block. Like the chopping block. And it has another meaning, the trucking block, because my name is Block and then I'm the Trucking Block. Anyway. Good luck to y'all out there, any new students and all that. I'm gonna get back to relaxing and maxing, profiling and styling, and kick my feet up and wait for my trainer to call me. Can't do anything else. I might go get me something to snack on in a minute. That's the bad thing about waiting up at these hotels, man. You spend your money. Need something to eat on. Anyway, peace out. Been good talking to you. Later.